so much yarn, so much that it fills 3 tubs and has some more outside of it. I bought these yarns either on clearance or during store closing sales, and I used to knit all the time. I would always have some project with me while I was doing other things, and I would make a whole variety of stuff. I would make stuffed animals, hats, scarves, vests, and shawls. But then I had to completely stop at one point. I could not spend any more time on these, and I had to put them away and focus on other stuff. There's a lot going on, and well, life was a certain way. And now things have changed, so I can now focus on these hobbies and stuff, while I also post about them and write about them. It is also relaxing for me. I recently found out that it's actually very relaxing for me to knit or sew. My enjoyment of these came back rather randomly, and I feel like I'm rediscovering a part of myself that I put away a long time ago, and it's revealing more about my life and myself, and just showing things that I had hidden or turned away from for various reasons. Allowing myself to enjoy these pastimes that I felt like I had to put away has allowed me to not just relax, but also pace myself and slow down what I had been doing before. I had been working at a pace that was making me sick from stress, and now that I've slowed down enough to have time for these fiber crafts and other things, I found it easier for me to pace myself. The pacing becomes natural now. I don't have to force myself to work. I don't have to force myself to rest. Things just come naturally, and it flows. Life is flowing more fluidly now. It was unexpected, or something I didn't think of expecting, because I was just used to constantly rushing, constantly being behind, always unable to get anything done. And then now all of a sudden I have enough time to do things that I have not done in years and close to a decade. And I did have to stop other things, but what I'm doing now feels more natural than what I had felt like I was somewhat forced, but more pure, not forced, but pressured into before. And also uploading the videos and somewhat recording and unwinding is allowing me to have a purpose in the self-exploration of crafts and hobbies that helps me learn more about my relationship with time and time management. I, for the longest time, had thought that I was horrible at time management. It was something I would never be able to do. It was something I had to force myself to improve at. And now that I just relax on everything and don't force myself to do anything, time management has become natural. Like, I have a natural circadian rhythm, and it is working with my management of my time and everything else in life, including what's considered work, what's considered hobbies, and what's considered play and self-care and everything else, and caring for my environment and those around me. I'm glad that I took this time for myself to explore hobbies that I had put away a long time ago. And since this channel is somewhat personal, or it does show mostly crafts and cooking and stuff, but I did have a little bit of lifestyle stuff, and I do want to post an update of what's been going on and what's happened. and also write about where all this random knitting and crochet stuff came from, because I used to have all these resin craft posts and I completely stopped. I might restart them, but I don't know, because I'm just going with the flow of what's natural for me in regards to crafts and cooking, and we will see where we go from there. Books I've collected over the years about all sorts of needle crafts or yarn crafts and stuff. I used to do a lot of knitting, crochet, and sewing. I actually learned to knit and crochet back before YouTube even existed. I also learned hand sewing back then. And here's some projects. This green stuff is a pair of gloves I had been knitting for myself. It's a very nice acrylic, and it was a type of wool. I forgot what type of wool. It feels like mohair, but it was very nice and soft. And I finished that much of it like over 10 years ago. And then I started this, and I have yet to complete it. When I bought this ball, the lady who was selling it told me that usually people buy 2 balls so they can have a complete pair of gloves, but you know, 1 ball fits for both my hands. My hands are actually kind of small. I'll go into that later. And this is what I made with the knitting machine, just to see what would happen if I strung this up on the knitting machine. I was thinking maybe I could use this to make hand warmers, but this actually was too loose for me. And here I'm showing a close-up so you can see how nice it looks. It's really soft and comfortable. It's also a really nice color. I'm thinking of finishing this and turning it to maybe hand warmers. I might attempt to make gloves, but it's just easier to turn it into hand warmers. I already have a thumb on one of them gloves, so I'll just see how much yarn. I made it like that just in case I would need to buy more yarn. So, this is the cables. I really loved cables because I really like thick knits, because whenever I knit something, it would be for cold weather. So I would make these really thick cabled things, and I also made hats and vests and a few scarves, not that many and stuff. This is the yarn I used to make the rabbit. And look, there's a toilet paper roll I wound the yarn on. And this is a bag of random scrap yarn or partially used yarn and yarn scraps. You can, it's like, I have so much yarn. And then this is a project I started also over 10 years ago that has not been completed at all. Along with this one is, what is in this bag? Oh, this is a little crochet doll. It's with 3 different yarns. I was going to make a little owl, and it actually has a lighter, thinner yarn that's actually behind, so the fluffy, feathery yarn is actually combined. I'm knitting 2 pieces of yarn at the same time so that it would have more form, because if I just did the feathery one, it wouldn't stay together as well. And I quit doing that because I was like, no, I don't want to spend time on that. Oh, here's some more yarn on toilet paper rolls. You know, toilet paper rolls are great for winding yarn around. So I just have random toilet paper rolls. Like, I have skeins of yarn wound around toilet paper rolls. Oh, this? I got it during one of those store clothing sales. I'm gonna look for the paper attachment. I thought it was such a weird color when I bought it, but now that I look at it, I think it's actually pretty nice. It's really bright and it's so contrasty. It's called Landscapes. I'm thinking of making maybe a shawl with it. See how much time I have, because I have so much stuff going on. I mean, I had to completely quit all knitting and crochet at one point because of how busy I got with everything. And this is a fiber quilt. This is actually from Daiso, the Japanese dollar or 100 yen store, the American version, and it's really soft. That filling is really soft. When I used it for the first time, I was surprised because I'm used to this regular polyester fill, which I got at Walmart, and I'm going to open this to compare it. It's going to take me a while. I'm like, yeah, trying to open the bag. Oh, it opened. Now this polyester felt is really rough and it creates a more of a firm stuffed animal. Like I noticed when I put the Daiso, the Japanese, I'll call it Japanese polyester stuffed animal feel in, the stuffed animal came out a lot softer, whereas the the Walmart polyester feel will make a more firmer plush. So I'm actually going to use the Walmart one because I really like the soft ones, but I think because I'm knitting these stuffed animals, maybe for something that's sewn, I'll use the Daiso one, but I will normally just use the polyester fill from Walmart